Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro Division with the qualifying round win here for the Summer Major in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. You can get the ultimate tournament guide for Pro, Expert and Master by going to patreon.com/golfclashtom, and you do have the link directly in the description down below. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there is always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. We start off with hole number 1 and we're gonna play with a katana because we do want to play with a power 2 minimum and side spin 3. Plus 4 yard mark with extra mile level 8, red ring by the rough line, and then we're gonna focus on having the ball guideline to point down the fairway. Half a ball of curl to the left after adjusting max plus 15, I must add. So we're gonna change that here now. A little typo already from start. So max plus 15 is what we're gonna do the drive, as you can see there now. Now for the second shot, we're going to pay attention to where our yellow ring is compared to where the pin is. And that may be confusing for some, but this is a method that we work with a lot when it comes to different type of pin checks and frame checks and whatever. So take a close look here on my yellow ring, the bottom of the yellow ring here. That's gonna be at the plus 1 yard mark while resting there at the pin. So we're gonna use that mark, the plus 1 yard with the bottom of the yellow ring by the pin, and that's gonna be 52% slider, and it's gonna in that case be 10% elevation. So 1 bar of side spin to the right to somewhat try to align the ball guideline with the wind to give ourselves a little bit more room for error. Always when we do play with a thorn, we pull over bullseye. That's something that I will do on every hole that we do play with a thorn. That's how I adjust, and that's not something that I'm gonna change. So try to just follow that. Perfect ball. Bounce on the fairway. You can see here this ball gets right at pin for a beautiful eagle on hole number 1. So plus 1, as that yellow ring pin check is 52% slider, 10% elevation, power 2 ball settings, and this is a good start on hole 1. Hole number 2, and we're gonna start off with a rough bump, which is gonna be what we're gonna play on all par 3s because the rough bumps are the best place here by far. So 3 bars of left spin, 0.8 bars of top spin. You can see that we have the bullseye just above that rough line that goes in the center of the rough. Ball guideline should then be into the center of the bright green square row that is to the left of the pin. Adjustment is medium distance with a 10% over adjustment, power 3 ball settings. And for those that might have already catched up with a 1-2-1, meaning you take the wind that we do have, which is 5 miles per hour, adjust 5 rings, and you always pull over bullseye. Very important that as well. This is a very good chance to make a drop on hole number 2. Hole number 3 is gonna be a tough hole, but we do have a nice play here, and I'm happy to have got the luxury to lend a second shot video from Ben Kennedy. You can find a link to his channel in the description down below. But we start off with the drive, and we're gonna use 6 top spin, 1 left spin. Most importantly, we focus on the ball guideline to be straight down the fairway. Very important, so we're not being too far left or too far right, because we don't want to risk going into the rough. That's just so unnecessary. We're looking to be somewhere between 365 and 375 yards. Once you have adjusted, you're gonna go into overpower. Very important that you do add 1 ring extra than what you adjust into. Now for the second shot, you can see here now that Ben is using the yellow ring to be just, to move up towards the sand trap line, to use that as a marker for this play. This is very important to do that sand trap check, otherwise it's going to be difficult for you to get that ball to be dialed in as we want to. Then we add spin to the pin. Very important that as well. So after that, we're gonna give you a reference that when you have a +1 yard mark by the sand trap line, it's going to be 70% slider with a 20% over adjustment. One thing to have in mind here as well, that if you would fall into the sand here, it is going to be very important for you to add a little bit of overpower. And the reason we want to do that is that when you do adjust from a higher to a lower point, you will lose distance. So to compensate for that, we add just a tiny little click overpower, basically just using the bottom of the ball to just cover the bottom teeth of in the adjustment range to make sure that you do get overpower that we need to. But if you don't adjust down into the bunker, you just play as normal, and then hole number 3 with this setup here is definitely gonna be a decent chance. Hole number 4, the drive is direct headwind, and here once again, those of you that do have some better levels on your driver is gonna have a much easier time to get to the intended landing spots. 6 bars of topspin, and I'm using 3 bars of left spin, and trying to aim with the ball guidelines centered down the fairway. Now looking at the video here afterwards, it's pretty clear that I'm aiming a little bit too close to the rough on the left. Adjust max +10, then we're gonna go with half a ring of overpower more than what we adjust into, and half a ball of curl to the left. But pay attention to where you set up your target, because you could see how close I am there to the rough, and there is no point in being that close in my opinion. Now for the second shot, you will see me play with the thorn. That's because I forgot to pack the hornet. Why is this then so important to have the hornet instead of the thorn? It's because if we do have a long drive, we may not have the topspin enough to do the rough bump like I'm doing here now with the thorn. So I am a little bit lucky that I'm actually having just enough topspin here to make this shot. But to just talk you through with this shot here, I did first and foremost make a pin check here, and then I do play a 10% elevation, and I played it 60% slider. But what we would recommend here is to use the hornet, use 4.5 bar topspin to get the ball guideline through the hole. Very important. And as to give you a reference, we want to use the bottom white ring of the hornet to be just by the edge of the fringe, to then give us, if we do have +2, it should be 80% slider. But you know, if you have a little luck sometimes like I'm having here, then you can get this ball to drop as well, even if you pick the wrong club. But again, choose the hornet is going to be much better, as then you will have the topspin even with lower levels. Hole number 5, and we're gonna start in complete max distance with a power 3 ball with our sniper level 10. Yes, I'm gonna explain to you what to do if you do have a sniper level 9. So yellow ring by the rough line, 1 right spin and 1.5 bar top spin. You can see here now with the tip of the ball guideline to be approximately 1 green square short of pin. Adjustment here now shall be max +15, a power 3 ball settings. And we're gonna, you know, try to have obviously the pull angle to be as straight as possible. We pull over the bullseye because we're gonna pull more than 5 rings all the time, and then we're gonna hit perfect. When you do play with a sniper level 9, we recommend to start with a power 4 ball. Doesn't matter what power 4 ball you're gonna play with, just that it does have a wind resistance 3 if possible. If you don't have a wind resistance 3, then that's fine as well, because the only thing that we're looking for is to find our aim point. So once you have found the aim point with sniper level 9 and power 4 ball, it shall say +14 on the yardage. That's very important. Then you adjust the rings that you shall be doing, and then you change to a kingmaker, and then you will only spend a power 3 ball. You can obviously keep the power 4 ball all the time if you want to, but that's the tweak that we do have if you do not have a sniper level 10. Very good chance on hole 5. For hole number 6 here in Pro, this is going to be a very boring hole, I must say, because wind right to left on the drive is not the hardest thing to have, but the second shot is going to be headwind, so that's the problem. So first and foremost, we go with an NMT, meaning no movement, so you don't touch the target until it's time to adjust the rings. Max plus 10 adjustment, and then we go with outside wall curl to the right. I'm using 6 bars of topspin, 2 bars of side spin to the right. The plan here is to either clip the rough and roll out or to not clip the rough and roll out. Both will work. If you don't clip the rough, the second shot is going to be easier. You're going to have more room to attack the pin. But if you do not get that room, then we're just going to play this one very, very safely and not take any risks whatsoever. And this is also the reason why I want us to play with a power 5 ball. Doesn't have to be a berserker, it can be any other type of power 5 ball you may have. Obviously the more wind resistance the better. Using the 2 right spin, I'm also using 1 bar of backspin here, and you can see that I'm aiming way left of pin based on looking at the pin from this direction. Adjust max plus 10, I'm using 0.8 ball of curl to the right, and I'm also using overpower, which is 1 ring more than what I adjust into. Bounces on the fairway up towards the green, and you can see that I'm nowhere near getting an albatross, but again, I'm looking for an eagle here. That's the only thing that we're looking for, and that's the important part, to go in with that mentality on this hole. It's the qualifying round. We have a very tough wind. There is no point in pushing too hard, which could cost us and the eagle in the end. For hole number 7, we are going to use a fixed position by the cactus. You can see the cactus that is to the right of those 2 there on the screen. I'm trying to point, but obviously it's hard. But just to be having the ball guideline just left of the cactus there to the right. When you do have a wind that is below 7.3 miles per hour, we shall not do any pullback whatsoever when it comes to Apocalypse level 3, 4, and then Extra Mile level 8 plus. If we would be having a wind that is between 7.3 and 8 miles per hour, we pull back 3 yards. When it comes to those of you that using Apocalypse level 5 plus, here in Pro, we would recommend to start at the plus 26 yard mark to compensate for the more power you do have on those clubs. Half a ball of curl to the right, max overpower, and our only intention is to clip the rough and roll out. Now, it's very important that you pay attention to your yardage. I had 360 yards, which is a short drive, which is something that is outside our intended end spot, so to speak. But we can still work with that because we do have the reference 60% slider when it comes to 370 yard drive. Then we know, alright, that's 10 yards difference from 360 to 370. Every yard equals 2%. So that's gonna be 20% extra slider that we do need to add. So now when we have done all the math and stuff like that, we're gonna play this shot 80% slider, 10% elevation, power 5 ball settings. Backspin that I'm using is 2.8 bars of backspin, and then ball guideline to be just short of hole. I think that's very important. If you're not having the ball guideline short of hole, you will be having a little bit of a problem by coming in too hot. A little swirly 360 into the hole there, which I'm pleased with, you know. Hole number 7 is not an easy hole. This is one of the longer par 4s that we do have in the game. So this is a nice play. A power 5 ball is recommended, unfortunately, because otherwise we will have a problem reaching to the fairway after the rough. For the final of the par 3s, we will be playing with a quarterback. Doesn't matter what level, because the min line is still going to be the same. Absolute minimum distance with 1 bar of right spin, 2.5 bar backspin with a quarterback here as we have. As yeah, again, I've already said quarterback like 20 times, it feels like. But ball guideline through the hole once you are in min line. Then we're gonna adjust minimum distance with no elevation. Power 0 ball settings. In this video here, I do adjust power 2 ball settings, minimum distance, and I will miss just right. So I judge us to believe that we need the 0.2 less in our adjustment, which min no elevation, power, zero ball numbers will be instead. So that's a way you can mix around with the numbers to get the values that you do want to have. Speed wise is absolutely perfect though. We just need to get the direction just perfect. So, and that's what we're gonna get with min, no elevation, power, zero ball numbers for hole number 8. Hole number 9, another boring par 5 because we have a direct headwind. This is going to be very difficult for those of you that do have lower level clubs. So this is a play where even those of you that do have extra mile level 5, 6, 7s and only have 4.5 bars of topspin can be able to follow. Obviously the drive is going to be very difficult for everyone because we start at max, we start with max topspin, 3 bars of side spin to the right. So it doesn't matter if you have 4.5 bar topspin or you have 9 bars of topspin on your driver, you're gonna use max regardless, because you can see we have like, I was about to say a million yards until we we end up into the water, but we don't obviously, but we do have a lot of room. So therefore all the topspin that you can use, and then the side spin as well to the right with that. Max plus 10, go with max overpower. Again, regardless of what club you are having, max overpower is gonna be the case. Now, for the second shot, we're going to play with the Cataclysm, or we're gonna play with the Big Dog. And the reason for that is that we are actually not gonna push this towards the pin here. We're gonna make this one simple. We're gonna go with the same mentality that we do have on that we come with from hole number 6, the last par 5. Where we're using in this case 5.5 bar topspin, 2 bars of left spin, and basically is aiming here to get this ball to be by the green area and to have then a safe wedge making an eagle on this par 5. Because once again there is such a slim chance to make an albatross here, and if we're gonna have a decent chance for it, we need to have big boy clubs, we need to have the special balls and stuff like that, and that's gonna be so tough. And again, it's the qualifying round, there is no point. Very bad great right of me there, and obviously I'm a little bit lucky to roll through the rough, but make sure you hit perfect or just a minor great right and you're gonna be fine. Max plus 10 for the adjustment, even though we're not in max distance, and I choose to go with the Kingmaker to reduce the wind, especially on the drive. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for the qualifying round Pro Division. If you do want to get the ultimate tournament guides for Pro, the best detailed guides on the market, you go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. We do have for expert and master as well. Link directly in the description down below. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Thank you once again for watching, and good luck in your Golf Clash game.